Following years of conjecture, rumors, and unresolved questions, Rasheeda Frost has finally confirmed what many had suspected all along. At 48, she has had enough and is facing the truth head-on. In a shocking turn of events, Rasheeda discovers Kirk in the act talking to another woman, and this time, she is not holding back. The drama that has surrounded their marriage for years has reached a boiling point, and Rasheeda is no longer keeping quiet. What happens next could completely alter their relationship, and the world watches as Rasheeda Frost, a name synonymous with strength, takes control of her story. Resilience and grace have spent years navigating the highs and lows of a public marriage to Kirk Frost. Their relationship has been a roller coaster, full of love and joyful moments, but also marked by some very public struggles. Despite their shared history, Rasheeda and Kirk's bond has been under constant scrutiny, with their ups and downs frequently occurring in front of cameras. Much of the drama has been brought on by Kirk's past infidelity, as his repeated betrayals have repeatedly tried Rasheeda's patience and trust over the years. Has demonstrated incredible tenacity by sticking by her husband despite his many wrongdoings. She has forgiven him several times in the hopes that things will change, but the whispers and suspicions about Kirk's affairs have only gotten louder, forcing Rasheeda to face the unpleasant reality that Kirk's behavior has been undermining their marriage. After years of conjecture and emotional upheaval, Rasheeda has finally reached a breaking point, and this time she is finished with the rumors and prepared to face the situation head-on. It's a typical day, but the timing couldn't be more significant. Rasheeda, who has been feeling the weight of the rumors and her own growing suspicions, walks into the room and finds Kirk in a compromising position. His phone is in his hand, and the screen lights up with the conversation that's all too familiar. Flirty messages, intimate exchanges, and the unmistakable signs of another woman competing for his attention make Rasheeda's heart sink. Years of forgiving him, silent prayers for change, and the hope that things might finally be different all come crashing down in that one moment. She stands there and processes what she's seeing, but then her anger, frustration, and hurt surface. Her eyes narrow, and her voice is steady but full of raw emotion as she demands an explanation. "Kirk, what the hell is this?" Rasheeda's words cut through the air, sharp and clear. This is a turning point in their relationship, one that marks a new chapter where Rasheeda regains control of her life and her dignity. The tension in the room is palpable as Kirk stammers, trying to come up with some excuse or explanation for his actions, but Rasheeda isn't having it. She has been his encouraging wife and has stood by him even when the world questioned their marriage. But now she's had enough. Her face shows no signs of the forgiveness she once offered so freely. The emotional weight of this confrontation is overwhelming, and as the conversation progresses, the tension between them increases. This isn't just about a cheating scandal. It's about Rasheeda reclaiming her power and demanding respect. Kirk, caught off guard and unable to deny the truth, tries to defend himself, but Rasheeda isn't listening to her pain, her anger, and her years of Rasheeda's decision to confront Kirk at that moment wasn't made lightly. For years, she had put up with the whispers behind her back and the never-ending cycle of forgiveness after every betrayal. But as the years passed, she reached a breaking point, making the years of heartache, the ongoing emotional toll, and the humiliation of her husband's actions no longer something she was. Her frustration has built up to this point, and she isn't backing down. The confrontation is a defining moment in their relationship, one that will either result in a reckoning or the end of their marriage. Willing to ignore the moment, Rasheeda saw the chat messages on Kirk's phone. It wasn't just about catching him in the act. It was the culmination of years of disappointment and betrayal, and it was a mirror of everything she had gone through up until that point. She had always tried to be the supportive partner, the one who put a lot of effort into keeping the family together, and she had forgiven him numerous times, making excuses for him in the hopes that he would finally see the value of their marriage. However, he hadn't changed, and Rasheeda was finally ready to stop waiting for him to change. The feelings of betrayal and anger she felt at that moment were indisputable. The pictures of him texting another woman, something he had repeatedly done, broke her heart. However, it wasn't just the act, it was also the emotional toll of being let down by someone she loved on a regular basis. She was sick of feeling insignificant and sick of being treated disrespectfully. Kirk's actions serve as a reminder that despite all of her sacrifices, he still didn't value her enough to stop pursuing attention from other people. But more importantly, what was most important at this moment was Rasheeda's clarity, which she was unwilling to allow to let Kirk control her life or her happiness. This confrontation wasn't just about revealing his adultery. It was also about taking charge of her own story. She had lived in the shadow of their turbulent marriage for years, but now she was stepping into the light and refusing to let his mistakes define her. The pain of betrayal was still there, but so was a newfound strength. Rasheeda's decision to confront him wasn't about getting revenge. Rather, it was about protecting herself because she knew she deserved more than the never-ending cycle of hurt and deceit. As she looked at Kirk, waiting for him to answer for his actions, Rasheeda realized that the decision she was making was difficult, messy, emotional, and uncertain, but it was a decision that marked the beginning of taking ownership of her life. The world may have speculated about her marriage for years, but now that she was writing her own story, she was done being the silent sufferer, whether or not she stayed with Kirk. Her voice trembles with frustration, but there's a quiet strength behind her words. She's done with the games. Kirk's response is a mix of regret and defensiveness. He tries to backpedal, saying that he didn't mean for things. Rasheeda isn't buying it. She's heard all the excuses before, and this time she's not willing to let him off the hook. To get out of control, but the damage has already been done. He knows that Rasheeda has exposed him in a lie, and no amount of begging will reverse the hurt he has caused. "I never meant to hurt you, Rasheeda," he says, his tone softening. "I messed up, but it was just a mistake. It doesn't mean anything." But Rasheeda isn't fooled by his apologies anymore. She's heard them too often. The pattern is all too familiar. Kirk makes a mistake, says he's sorry, vows to change, and then reverts to his old habits. However, Rasheeda is unwilling to accept his pathetic apologies because she has seen enough to know that Kirk hasn't really changed. He is still the same man who has repeatedly betrayed her trust, and Kirk's attempts to defend his actions come across as manipulative rather than sincere. He shifts the blame subtly, implying that Rasheeda's busy life and their emotional distance contributed to his behavior, saying, "You know things haven't been the same between us." He tries to portray himself as the victim of a marriage that has lost its spark, saying, "I've been feeling neglected too. You're always working, and I'm just trying to get some attention." But Rasheeda isn't having it. She's heard the excuses before, and she has been the one making excuses for him to forgive him in an attempt to keep their family together for years. But now she realizes that Kirk's pattern of behavior won't change as the confrontation goes on. Kirk's defensiveness grows. He becomes agitated, raising his voice and pleading with Rasheeda to understand. "I messed up, okay, but I love you. I'm sorry. Don't throw everything away over it." She knows them for what they are, a way for Kirk to avoid taking full responsibility for his actions. One mistake, but Rasheeda is unwavering. She's tired of the hollow promises and the never-ending cycle of betrayal. She's heard it all before, and it doesn't matter anymore. It's now evident that Kirk hasn't learned from his mistakes. He's still attempting to control the situation and persuade Rasheeda to forgive him without really understanding the extent of his betrayal. His actions speak louder than his words, and Rasheeda is aware that he hasn't changed. The emotional toll of years of infidelity and lies has finally caught up with their relationship, and Kirk's attempts to defend his actions haven't changed, only widen the gap between them as Rasheeda refuses to accept his justifications. Kirk must face the fact that he has lost her trust and that no amount of begging or reasoning will win it back. His response only serves to confirm that he hasn't learned from his mistakes and that he is still the same man who has repeatedly harmed Rasheeda, and this time she won't allow him to get away with it. Rasheeda's journey of self-discovery has been a process of regaining her own voice as she has spent years putting her family's and her marriage's needs ahead of her own. Working tirelessly to support her husband, build a career, and raise her kids while repressing her own desires and dreams, Rasheeda eventually realized that she had lost sight of who she really was outside of her roles as a wife and mother. She had become so preoccupied with maintaining appearances and keeping everything together that she had neglected her own needs and desires. Rasheeda's growth is evident in the way she handles the situation. Rather than reacting with desperation or anger, as she moves forward, Rasheeda is embracing her independence and isn't afraid to be alone if it means protecting her peace and mental well-being. Her journey of self-discovery has brought her to a place of clarity where she understands that she deserves love, respect, and loyalty. She has learned to stand up for herself, speak her truth, and leave situations that no longer serve her. And this newfound strength and self-assurance have become a source of empowerment, not just for Rasheeda, but for women everywhere who have been in similar situations. Rasheeda Frost is a woman who understands her value and isn't scared to show the world how strong she is if she so chooses. Regardless of any other external factor, Rasheeda has come to realize that her worth is intrinsic and cannot be diminished by anyone or anything. Her story is one of resilience and strength. She has weathered the storms of her marriage, but now she's choosing to take control of her narrative. Instead of waiting for Kirk to change or for things to magically improve, she's embracing her independence and seeking the respect she has always deserved at 48. The road to reconciliation will be long and challenging because trust cannot be easily restored once it has been broken. Kirk will need to demonstrate through consistent actions, not just words, that he is committed to making real changes and earning back Rasheeda's respect. Whether or not he is willing to put in the effort is still up in the air, but if he is genuinely serious about saving their marriage, it will require a significant shift in their dynamic. As word of Rasheeda Frost's courageous confrontation with Kirk Frost spreads, fans of the couple and those who have followed their relationship for years are left divided. Rasheeda's decision to finally confront Kirk about his infidelity and demand accountability has sparked a wide range of reactions from her supporters and critics alike. This moment is not only a turning point in their marriage, but also a pivotal moment in the public's perception of their relationship. Regardless of where fans go on the issue, one thing is certain: the ongoing debate about whether Rasheeda should stay or leave, whether Kirk can redeem himself, and what this all means for their future will continue to play out in the media and among fans as Rasheeda moves forward with her decision. It's clear that the public's reaction to her bold move will be just as complex and multifaceted as the situation itself. Kirk's reputation is also at stake in the aftermath of this confrontation, as he has been the subject of the public has grown tired of Kirk's repeated mistakes, and his relationship with Rasheeda is already strained. This confrontation could drive them even further apart. Kirk's handling of the situation will have a significant impact on his reputation going forward if he genuinely takes responsibility for his actions and works. Criticism due to his infidelity and the public drama surrounding his relationship with Rasheeda could further damage his image. There may be a chance for redemption if he keeps avoiding or controlling the situation, but if he keeps doing so, it could be the beginning of the end for their relationship and his public image overall. This confrontation is a turning point for Rasheeda because it shows that she has changed from a woman who quietly endured the ups and downs of her marriage to a woman who now commands respect and accountability. She has been patient, forgiving, and loyal for years, but this time she is choosing herself and isn't afraid to stand up for what she deserves, and that's something to celebrate. The more important question is whether this confrontation will result in a fresh start for Rasheeda and Kirk, or if it is the last straw in a marriage that has been tried and tested time and time again. Only time will tell if Kirk can win back her trust, but one thing is for sure: Rasheeda is a different woman now. She is stronger, wiser, and prepared to face whatever comes next, with or without Kirk by her side. What do you think will happen between them? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Time in their partnership.